Don't destroy your Honda transmission by letting some clown at the local Quick Lube sell you a transmission flush. Without proper training, the dislodged debris can ruin your transmission and cause more damage. I'll show you how to easily change transmission fluid in your Honda transmission yourself. It's a safer, simpler, and more cost-effective method of changing your transmission fluid. And you don't need to go to the dealership or pay an expensive mechanic for this service. I'm doing this today in my 2013 Honda Pilot. Honda recommends draining and filling the transmission versus mechanical or chemical flushes. On this transmission, a one-time drain and fill takes up to 3.6 quarts of ATF DW1. You will need to do this up to 3 times to remove all of the old transmission fluid to get it back to that nice new pink color and all new fluid. Draining will only remove almost 4 quarts, but your transmission will hold 8 to 10 quarts depending on the model. A lot of this transmission fluid is held up in the torque converter, so multiple drains are needed to remove all the old fluid. Doing a drain and fill 3 times and driving in between replaces all of the old fluid to new. To do a simple one-time drain and fill, you'll need 4 quarts of ATF DW1. Ensure you're using the correct transmission fluid for your car by referencing its owner's manual. I found the Honda ATF DW1 online for a lower price, delivered straight to my door, and I didn't even have to step foot into the dealership. I'll put a link to this in the video description and comments below for your convenience. You'll also need a new crush washer for the transmission drain plug. Again, I picked up this pack online and the link is below. It's a good idea to check your transmission fluid level before draining to check its current level. Check the fluid level while the transmission is hot, and the fluid will also drain better when hot. The transmission dipstick is located right here. The fluid should be between the 2 holes when hot. Right back here is the transmission fill bolt location. We aren't going to fill the Honda Pilot transmission fluid using this bolt though. That's because this bolt is extremely hard to remove, especially if it's never been removed before. It takes a 17mm socket and a long extension. This sucker is extremely hard to remove even when using penetrating oil and some extra leverage. I ended up stripping this bolt's head trying to remove it. Once removed, it's also easy to drop. You need to replace the crush washer, and it just isn't worth the trouble. The last thing you want to do is drain the transmission with no way of refilling it. So we're going to fill the transmission using this handy little fluid pump right into the dipstick hole. This fluid pump works perfect for this and makes refilling the transmission clean and easy. I recommend getting one of these for this job and avoiding the bolt altogether. I'll put a link to this in the video description and comments below for your convenience. Go ahead and reinstall the dipstick before you start the drain process on the transmission. To drain the transmission fluid, the drain bolt can be accessed at the front passenger side of the Honda Pilot right here. You can access this without raising the vehicle. You'll need a small 3/8 inch breaker bar or ratchet to remove this bolt. A 10-inch breaker bar works perfect for this and is just the right size. You may need an extra pipe for leverage if the bolt has never been removed before. After breaking the bolt loose, you'll need to position your drain pan below. Remove the drain bolt all the way to drain the transmission. Now you can remove the dipstick to allow for a faster flow. Removing the dipstick first can get a little messy when the drain bolt is pulled, so leave that in until the drain bolt is removed. As you can see, the old fluid coming out is quite burnt and no longer pink. While the fluid is draining, you can use this time to clean the drain plug. The drain plug is magnetic and collects any metal shavings that are circulating through your transmission and in the fluid. You want to remove all of these shavings so they don't get circulated back into your transmission and cause further damage. Remove and discard the old crush washer and install a new one. You want to use a new crush washer each time to ensure a good seal. After the transmission drain slows to a drip, you can reinstall the drain bolt and new crush washer. This drain bolt calls for a torque spec of 36 foot-pounds, so I'm using my torque wrench here to avoid over-tightening the bolt. We are now ready to refill the transmission fluid, but before doing this, it's a good idea to measure the amount we drained out.
Doing alright, Jack?
I'm like really cold. I'm free balling.
You're what?
I'm free balling.
You're free balling? Alright.
The drain volume is supposed to be 3.6 quarts, but as you can see here, I drained out just shy of a gallon. So I will be adding almost all 4 quarts. The fluid pump makes adding the fluid very clean and easy, and this works perfectly. It comes with a solid tube that inserts directly into the longer flexible tube. The pump end then installs directly onto your quart of fluid. This pump fits both large and smallmouth bottles. Simply insert the tube into the dipstick hole and pump in all 4 quarts or the same amount that you drained. After adding all 4 quarts and warming up the transmission, recheck the level on the dipstick. You can see the difference between the old burnt fluid and the new fluid here. To do a proper transmission flush of all the fluid, you will need to repeat the drain and fill process up to 3 times. The reason is the drain and fill volume may only be 3.6 quarts, but the total transmission volume is much more. This is what Honda recommends in their service bulletins for transmission judder issues. Their solution for shudder or judder issues felt during acceleration is a software update along with a complete fluid flush, which is 3 drain and fills driving in between each drain and fill. I drove my Pilot for a week between flushes, and as you can see here, it wasn't until the 3rd flush that the fluid had any hint of pink as it does when the fluid is fresh and new. It takes 3 drain and fills to completely remove all of the burnt up old fluid. The good news is, thanks to this video, you can do this in less than 30 minutes yourself. I'll put links to the fluid, crush washers, fluid pump, and all the tools you might need in the video description and comments below for your convenience. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up so you can find it easily and consider subscribing to my channel. Thank you.